All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I, of course, want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Yahweh, which is named the Most High, and Yahushai, which is name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. I'm just going to do this little video. It's going to be based off of a conversation I had the other day. Bear with me a second. Based off of a conversation I had the other day with a brother named Ben Israel. Okay, and if you've seen the virgin birth, debate or discussion that I uploaded on the channel, I want to say maybe 4 days ago, which that was part one. We're gonna work on a second part to it. I had to, go early, so I can only record for 25 minutes or something like that. So, it was a good discussion. I would say, he had an upper advantage because I was out, walking around. I had to use two phones to record, one to call him on and the other to record on, because I can't record over the phone calls. And I learned that the hard way, but that's, a story for another time. Which my guy out there, what's the brother's name? Desan. Brother, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. No offense if I'm not. I got 1,000 names I got to remember, so I'm not, the best with it. So anyway, brother, hey, you know what I'm talking about, man. Right? It'd be our little inside joke, right? Tried to, record a video together, and then, of course, what do you know? We did a great job, right? We did a very good job with the video, right? But then when I go back to watch the video to upload it, there's no voice on it. It's like, oh, okay, well, they must not let me record over, phone calls then. But hey, it's okay. You learn from that so you don't make the mistake again. All right, so now I know, okay, well, I can't record over phone calls. All right, which makes sense, of course. It's a good thing they put that on there, because people, be using that for, I guess we could say, ill purposes. But anyway, getting back to what I was speaking of, this video is basically is from a discussion I had with an individual named Ben Israel. We were talking about the virgin birth, debate or topic of discussion. He put up a fair fight, but then we got into the topic of for a couple minutes we got into the topic of the other nations, if they can be saved or if they cannot be saved, because we are of the school of thought that the only people who can receive salvation are descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, if you're an Edomite, a Moabite, a Canaanite, or just name a couple of examples, then you can't receive salvation. All right, because salvation is only for the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Okay, so as you can tell by the name of the video, right, the other nations are going into slavery. I just want to give a couple of examples in the scriptures. Now, I'll quote the scriptures. You can look them up for yourself. I don't got, the scriptures with me, but you can go off memory. Okay, now one good scripture I'd like to bring up would be, what is that? Revelation chapter 2 and verse 26. And it basically says that, to him that overcomes will gain power over the nations, and he will rule them with a rod of iron. Now, my question to you guys, especially Christians out there that don't believe that the other nations are going into captivity, well, what is that verse talking about? It didn't happen yet, because Christ said, to him that overcomes. So that's clearly talking about the end, right? Which we're in the end now, but, that's talking about when Christ returns, okay? So clearly that hasn't happened yet. So clearly it's talking about the future. So my question is, what exactly is it talking about? If our interpretation is wrong and that the other nations, not going into captivity, well, then what is the verse talking about then? Right? Like my guy out there, you might have seen the debate that me and Rock Upon Him, right? Me and Rock Upon Him, we had a debate probably about 8 months ago. He got spiritual KO. But, one thing I brought up to him was that verse there, and I told him, what is that talking about? He was like, and, had to, stumble around for a minute. It was like, eventually said, "Oh, I don't know what it's talking about, but I know you're wrong." That's what he said, right? So, your understanding's wrong, but I don't know what it's talking about. That's basically what he was, saying. Okay, so he clearly got cut, right? He clearly got cut. Matter of fact, it was funny because even my man Marco, the cameraman, even he said, "Oh yeah, ETT, hey, my man Rock, he got you in a corner there with that one." All right, so he thought he was on the level, got his ass handed to him. When he came to discuss the skip cheese with ETT, right, or Yasha. Um, but going back to the topic of discussion, the other nations are going into slavery, man. Okay, and another, let's see, what's another scripture we can mention? I believe, what is that? Psalms, the second chapter, right? It says, ask of me, and I will give thee the heathen for thy inheritance. Okay, and then you go from there. I believe there's another one in the book of, I believe, what is that? I believe it's Psalms, the 49th chapter. But I know there's, more talk about that in Psalms, what is that, 148? Right? Yeah, I believe Psalms 148. That's a good chapter about the slavery for the other nations. Isaiah, the 60th chapter, right? The sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. Clearly, that's talking about servitude by the other nations, man. Okay. I mean, I can't see how anybody could challenge this. Okay, and hey, look, my guy Ben Israel, if you're watching this, man, we'll try to, as I said, we'll do the second part of the discussion. I don't know when I'll be able to, but I definitely look forward to, speaking about that subject because you are wrong on that. With all due respect. Um, but if you are watching this, hit me up in the comment section and show me a couple verses where you can disprove what I'm saying. I mean, how do you disprove the information that's being presented? Okay, now one could argue, well, Isaiah, Psalms, that already happened. Okay, well, what about the verse I mentioned that's in Revelation, the second chapter? That's clearly talking about slavery, and that hasn't happened yet. Okay, because that's talking about after Christ returns. Okay, clearly, just by the just by reading it, you can clearly tell that. So I mean, I don't understand, how guys could not agree to that, right? As I said, you ask, Christians like my guy Rock Upon him, what is this talking about? Oh, I don't know, right? I know you're wrong, but I don't know what it's talking about. Damn ridiculous. That's just what you got to deal with these guys out here, okay? Um, I mean, we could go on, all right, but I mean, it's just pretty obvious, man. Okay, I mean, it's very obvious, and I mean, it's clearly in the scriptures. Okay, anybody that doesn't agree just doesn't know what they're talking about. It's that simple, man. Okay, which I think my man, Mind of God, needs to, do a video about it. Okay, because I've asked him, and from my understanding, he says no, that the nations are not going into slavery. I could be wrong, but from what I perceive, from what he's saying, is that's what I think he's trying to say. So if he could make a video and clarify that, that would be very helpful. And if you do, Mind of God, make sure you answer the scriptures that that I'm bringing up, okay, that I've mentioned throughout this, the length of the video here, okay, and use them, and what are they talking about? Have they happened? And if they did, when did they happen? And if not, what's it talking about? Hold this. Bear with me a second. Okay. Thought I heard somebody walking besides the car. All right. Um. But yeah, that's gonna pretty much be the video there. Um. As I said, anybody out there who disagrees with Hebrew Israelites on the topic of the other nations going into captivity, you're more than certainly welcome to hit me up in the comment board, and we can go back and forth about it. I mean, but clearly, I have proven my statement. I have clearly proven it. Just by this video here. Okay, clearly it has been proven. So anybody that disagrees, must have slow comprehension skills. That's what a good way I'll look at it. It has damn slow comprehension skills. Okay, that's just what I'll say. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to throw a couple scriptures out there, to support why we teach that. Um, so yeah, with that being said, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua for this truth, and I'm gonna say shalom.